Congratulations for wisely choosing to invest 10 minutes daily to learn with Priya India. I am Priya Sengupta in Bangla and Priya Sengupta for the rest of you. And welcome to the inaugural episode of our series, YouTube series, Invest 10 Minutes Daily to Learn with Priya India. Now, I've just now used the word inaugural. Now, suppose you don't know it, don't worry. Now, we are all here to learn, and let's see what this word means. So let me try to give you some words which are synonyms, that is, words with similar or same meaning. So inaugural can also be expressed as first, initial, introductory, launching, opening. So many words, so many synonyms for inaugural. Now, so inaugural is generally used when we are talking about the beginning of an institution, the beginning of a period of office, that is a tenure of office, or the beginning of an activity. So I said inaugural episode. Now, episode is a noun, okay? So inaugural is telling us that this is the first episode, so it is a adjective. So inaugural is being used here as an adjective to the noun episode. What kind of episode? Now, I am delivering the inaugural address or speech or inaugural talk. So here again, inaugural is still an adjective. Now, we could also use the word inaugural as a noun. Say, for instance, if we say President Obama's inaugural, which means the event where President Obama took office for the first time. So since that is the event, President Obama's inaugural would be here. Inaugural is used as a noun. Now, also we could change inaugural to inauguration. Now, whenever you see this T-I-O-N, it generally means a process, and it is a noun. So inauguration is the process of opening something. And that could be an institution, that could be, so inauguration of the library, it could be a period of office, so inauguration of the president's office. The US president's office is inaugurated on January 20th since 1937. So it is called the Inauguration Day. And so inauguration could be of the period of office. It could also be the activity. So you are right now at the inauguration of our YouTube series, Invest 10 Minutes Daily to Learn with Priya India. Now, so we have seen inaugural and inauguration, what it means. And now let's look at how can we change it into an action word that is a verb. So we could say inaugurate or inaugurating. Yeah. So what we have just done as an inauguration is this, that we have learned the word inaugural as an adjective, inaugural episode, as a noun, President Obama's inaugural, as a process, adding a T-I-O-N, inauguration, and also we have used it as a verb, inaugurate or inaugurating. So we have learned so many different versions of the word inaugural. Yeah, so we've learned something. Okay, now let's see. So this is the inaugural episode of our YouTube series, Invest 10 Minutes Daily to Learn with Priya India. And here again, I'm using it, inaugural, as an adjective. Now, I am inaugurating our YouTube series, Invest 10 Minutes Daily to Learn with Priya India, inaugurating. So it is a verb. And now, welcome to the inauguration of our YouTube series, Invest 10 Minutes Daily to Learn with Priya India. So inauguration, noun. So you see that we can use a word in different ways. So there could be different kinds of sentence construction, and you could choose to make it the way you know it better. So don't get hassled by English. It is a foreign language to us, and we try to do our best with it. But there is a beauty to it, that there are so many forms which are possible, and you could just choose the form where you can fit the word properly. Okay? Now, let's see. So you have heard of this acronym, that is the first letters of a phrase, no KYC. So when you go to the bank, they ask you for the KYC. When you want LPG, that is the cooking gas, they ask you for KYC. Even today for DTH, that is the direct to home connection for watching television and getting some entertainment, they want our KYC. So that's the acronym stands for Know Your Customer. Okay. Now, so we all know your customer, and it's quite a process. Now, I also want to know my customers. Yeah, I want to know you. And you happen to be the end user of what I am offering. In this case, I'm offering some learning, a learning module every day. So I want to know about you, who is the end user of my product or my service, and so you become a consumer. So know your customer, know your consumer. The difference is customer buys, consumer uses. It could be the one and same person, but it could be different people also. For instance, a parent would buy children's Horlicks, and the child consumes it. So the customer is the parent, and the consumer is the kid who has this particular health drink. So we've learned the difference between a customer and an end user. They could overlap, they could be one and the same, also they could be different. Now today we are also you are going to learn about No KYHC. So what's that? So know your host and curator, and that is me. Now let's see, what does the word host mean? Now the host means a person who receives and entertains guests. Okay, other people who receives and either receives or receives and entertains guests or other people. Now, there are many other meanings to host. You could have a host in biology. Now, the first host, that is a person who receives, or a person, so it's a noun. The host in biology is also could be used as a noun. So here it means that an animal or a plant which houses and which provides for a parasite or for another organism, we call it a commensal organism. Let's not get into that. But a plant or an animal which provides shelter, food, or resources to some other organism is a host. For instance, if the coronavirus, God forbid, walks into me, then the corona would be the guest. The coronavirus would be the guest in my body, and I would be the host. But I don't want to be the host for the coronavirus. There are many other, many good people to be host too. Okay, so so we have understood host in terms of biology, and that's also a noun. Now, we could also use the word host as a verb. So how do we do that? So it means that we are in the act of doing an event, of receiving people, of entertaining people. So I could say, I host this YouTube series, which is called Invest 10 Minutes Daily to Learn with Priya India. So I host it. I am hosting it at this moment. So, so this is the action form of host. So that is the verb form. Also, you could have a host as a verb in the digital sense. So in the digital space, for instance, we have a computer which, so your data is hosted on the computer, or you are hosting the data on cloud, or we are hosting this meeting on Zoom. We are hosting the data on a server. So this is a verb form of host. So now you've seen the noun form of host as a person who receives, or in biology what host means, the verb form of host, where the act of actually receiving or entertaining a guest. I love to be a host. I love to host parties. I love to host people. And in the digital space, how we could use host in the verb form. Okay, so we learned host. Okay, now let's move on to, I said, know your host and the curator. So what does curator mean? Now, curator, again, it's a noun. It can be used as a noun. And let's look at the synonyms, that is, words with similar meaning or same meaning. So what could be the synonyms? We could have keeper, we could have caretaker, we could have custodian, we could have guardian. So many different, conservator, so many different synonyms for host, for curator. Okay, for curator. And now let's see, where do we find curators? We find curators in a museum, or in a museum there is a curator who selects which are the objects to be displayed, where, when, how, etc. So that person is very knowledgeable about those objects, and he is the person who is called the curator, and he curates. Okay. Now, it could also be a person who is creating a collection. So, in this case, I am the curator of this YouTube series, Invest 10 Minutes Daily to Learn with Priya India. So, I am curating the content. So, curating is the verb, and I am the curator. For a music program, for a let's say a literature fest, we have curators who select which are the particular artists who should perform, or particular authors who should be presented to the audience, which books, which piece of music should be presented. So that's what a curator does. Okay. Now moving forward, let's see. So the curator also selects who should be performing, which are the performers, which events should be performed. Again, for online things like this YouTube channel, the curator selects which content, what is the format, how is the delivery going to be. So that's what a curator does. And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to do that. I hope I do it very well. And every episode I get better at it, so that you get better value for your time. Now, curate, there is a noun form which means an assistant to a priest in the church. So it's now not so frequently used, but there is a noun form which means that. And we have the verb form of curate. That is, for instance, if I say, I will have to invest a lot of time to curate each episode of this YouTube series, Invest 10 Minutes Daily to Learn with Priya India. So here I'm using curate in the verb form. So this is the third word, and its various forms that you have learned, that is curate. Okay, now, so here I am, the host and curator for our YouTube series, Invest 10 Minutes Daily to Learn with Priya India. And let me tell you a little bit about myself, so that you know where I come from, what I have done in my professional space, how am I as a person, so that we find it easier to interact with each other. Okay, and I would love to also learn about you, and please do write an introduction about yourself in the comment box. I really look forward to that. I want to know my end users. Okay, so I am Priya Sengupta, Priya Sengupta in Bangla, and I'm founder owner of ALTAVEU and chief of DEEEShary. Some of you have come across me in the social media. At the core, I am a trainer for technical skills, for behavioral skills, and for management development programs. Now, apart from that, I am an instructional design specialist, so I create content for training on scientific lines, and I'm a professional communicator, a business consultant. I speak at events. I'm a speaker, presenter, a compere, and I'm a writer, editor, and translator of books. All of you know, or many of you know, those who have met me before, or you met me, or you follow my social media posts, that I'm a complete bibliophile, a book lover, and I absolutely love to read and to do various stuff with respect to books. I also teach in different MBA and engineering programs in prestigious institutions. So this is what I do. Okay. Now, about a little bit about my work experience. I worked 15 years in the corporate sector, rising from the level of management trainee to the level of director, and through different kinds of organizations, Indian and foreign and multinational organizations, MNCs, scientific and industrial research organizations, public-private partnerships, that is PPP, and consulting organizations. And I've worked mostly in middle management and senior management positions. I've also worked as an international scientific research administrator for 5 years. And for the past 10 years, I've been into entrepreneurship. And nowadays, I passionately mentor budding entrepreneurs and startups. And apart from all of this, what I do to earn my money is that and pay my bills, is that I provide a lot of training services and business consulting services through my organization ALTAVEU to different private and, that is, corporate and government organizations. So I work with about 65 organizations. A little bit about my education. I am an alumna, that is, I studied at, and since I'm a lady, I am using alumna, not alumnus, alumni. These are the other forms, and I will discuss that later on another day. Now, I am an alumna, singular, and for a lady, of Carmel, St. Teresa's, La Martiniere. For girls, these are my schools. And then I went to Presidency College, Science College, Calcutta University, Jadavpur University, Ramakrishna Mission Institute of Culture, and Indian Institute of Management, that is IIM Calcutta. I also have several certifications in different areas from different Indian and foreign universities. So that's a little bit about the institutions where I have studied. And I think I've been very lucky with to get such lovely institutions to study at, very fantastic infrastructure and very nice teachers. And this is one of the prime blessings that I have had in my life, and I treasure it, and I really am thankful for it. So what I do on a regular basis is that I combine the learning from my master's degree in human physiology, my master's degree in business, with my fluency in different Indian and foreign languages. I love languages. And I combine this with my 15 years of work experience in the corporate sector, 5 years of work experience in international scientific research administration, and 10 years in the entrepreneurial, my entrepreneurial experience of 10 years to deliver. So all of that, I mash it up, and I deliver very relevant, impactful, and lasting results to the client organizations with whom I work, as well as the participants and the mentees that I work with. Now, I also do a lot of work in the industry academia interface and science business interface. Now, a little bit about my personal life. I was born in Calcutta, and that time it was Calcutta, now it is Kolkata. And it is the biggest city in eastern India. It's considered as the cultural capital of India. And once upon a time, it also used to be the capital of the British people, British Raj, and it's the capital of our state of West Bengal in India. So I was born in Calcutta, but I was brought up in different places in North India, also in Western India, and in Bhutan, because my father's job involved a lot of transfers. I've spent, so Bhutan, I also love it very much. I love India, and I also love Bhutan because part of my formative years I spent in Bhutan, and I go there again and again and again because somewhere I find that's like another home for me. So coming to my hobbies, the first one, I love to read. I love to read. So this is one of my 11 cupboards, and this is the smallest one, and so it's neater. So I have a huge collection of books, then a lot of collection of ebooks. I get a lot of gifts also for as books nowadays. I get books to comment on, to edit, and to review, etc. So with respect to books, I'm really rich, and I love to learn. So that's a very genuine interest that I have. I love to write, and I love to socialize, that is, go to parties, meet friends, talk a lot. I love to network professionally, and that is meeting people, talking to them, getting to know them, keeping in touch with them. So I find this very amazing, very beautiful, and everybody has a lovely story of their life, and it's a very dynamic story, so it's beautiful. I also love to cook. It's a very creative process as far as I'm concerned. I find it is one of the most creative things that you can do. You can mix this and that, and you have something delicious, something different every time. I love gardening. You know, those of you who follow my posts, I have about we have about 400 plants in our home. So I call them my little green beings, DEINGS, my little green creatures. And some of them have become really large. They are no longer little, but I feel very motherly for them. I have this feeling for them, and I love to swim and paint. Colors are fantastic, and I love to travel. So both domestic, that is within India, and international. Whenever I get the opportunity, I really travel, and wherever I'm going, just bindas, kumo. So these are the things I love to do. And those of you who follow my posts or have heard me speak in some forum or attended my workshop, you know that I do what I love to do. And therefore, I enjoy my work thoroughly. So I just do those things which I love. It's a blessing that there are several things that I like to do, which I love to do. And I just keep on moving through from one to the other, to the other, to the other. And because I thoroughly enjoy my work, I thoroughly love my work, it does not feel like a big load to me, not at all. It's interesting, it's energizing, etc. And so generally I'm in a good mood. I'm a fun-loving person, and you can just call me Priya. Irrespective of your age, just call me Priya. I'm perfectly comfortable with it. So what have we done today? Let's see. So we have learned a few words in different forms, because I wanted to impress upon you very early that language is a huge tool. Yes, our body language is there with us. I wish I could use more than my hands for this particular video, and my face, my facial expressions. But apart from body language, we also would be richer if we are more fluent in the language that we want to communicate in. So language learning has different parts, but vocabulary is something that you need to work on every day or continuously in order to make your vocabulary larger. Not necessarily to use all the words when you are speaking or writing, but more so that you can understand when others speak or write those words. But the more your vocabulary, the richer your vocabulary, you would have different variations, different, like you have different hues of colors. Large vocabulary gives you the power to express different things with very, with a lot of fineness, okay? With a lot of subtlety. So that's why I went into discussion about a few words, just to give you a sense of how you could use different forms of the words if you care to listen to them well or read them well. So we discussed inaugural and inauguration, inaugural as an adjective and a noun, inauguration as a noun, and inaugurate, the verb, inaugurate, inaugurating, the verb. Second, we learned about host, that is both in the sense of noun and in noun biology, then verb and verb digital. Third, we learned about curator, curation, and curate. So, curator, curation, and curate, all three as nouns, and curate also as a verb. Then you learned about KYHC. So you got to know about your host and curator, and that's me. And then, just like you feel good now that you know who I am, what I know, what I don't know, what you can ask, or what I may not be able to share with you. Similarly, I would also love to know you. Now, here's a small homework for you. So once you are done seeing the video, in the comment box, please write a short introduction of yourself. I don't mind even if it is long, but please write an introduction of yourself so that I can read it, understand you better, and so that I can connect with you better, and I can accordingly create material in the upcoming episodes which could be of high value to you. So you have to help me to understand you so that I can provide you with what you require. Okay, I will try to tune, or I will tune the upcoming episodes, and every episode I'll try my best so that it is every episode of Invest 10 Minutes Daily with to Learn with Priya India according to your requirements, so that you get maximum value for those 10 minutes that you are investing with me. Now, so I want to know my end user or consumer. So in an upcoming episode, what we will do is we will use some of these introductions, and we will learn how to introduce ourselves very well, so that a kind of trust is built between the people who are present when an introduction happens. So join me back on the next episode of our YouTube series, Invest 10 Minutes Daily to Learn with Priya India, and I will upload a 10-minute interactive learning module by 6 a.m. every day, so that you can benefit from it and you can grow regularly both in your personal life and professional life, and you can live the life that you dream about. Now, till then, till we meet again, stay positive and constructive and happy with Priya India. Thank you so much.